As we are about to embark in part 2 of our journey across country in our Tesla, we want to remind everyone that part 1 included our drive from Jacksonville, Florida to Blue Ridge, Georgia, which was about 500 miles. We documented that stretch, including all of our charging stops and stats, and it can be found on our channel. In that video, we questioned whether or not we would regret choosing to take our Tesla Model 3 instead of our Nissan Pathfinder. One would imagine that the Pathfinder is better suited for taking a whole family of 5 and a dog on a 2,500-mile road trip. However, with the slight exception of when we were driving up and down the gravel road to the cabin, we really did not regret taking the Tesla at all. Charging stops were stops we would have had to take anyways to use the restroom or have lunch. They didn't hinder our travel at all. In the second part of our journey, we travel from Blue Ridge, Georgia to Lafayette, Indiana. We stay overnight in a hotel to break up the drive for the kids and the dog. Then we continue on to Chicago, Illinois to see family the next day. From Chicago, we travel to Cedarburg, Wisconsin, also for a family visit. This accounted for the longest stretch of driving we have on the entire road trip. This will truly be a test for the Tesla and a test for our patience with traveling in an electric vehicle. We will show our Tesla supercharger stops, as well as some travel footage from these areas. But before we end up here at Lake Michigan, we had to return back to where it all starts, Blue Ridge. Just completed our second charging stop of the day, and we've realized that it's very hard to get a dog and 3 kids out of the car and try to make a video at the same time. So we're trying to keep track, but the first one we missed making a video, but it was only a 9-minute stop. It cost us $6 to recharge, and we were back on the road. And that one we didn't even take the kids out, we just took the dogs out, and that's why it was so quick. The second stop that we made in Brentwood, Tennessee, it took us 34 minutes because of the children, but the car was actually ready early, 15 minutes. And we had driven 100 miles on that stretch, and we charged from 42 to 96% in the 34 minutes that it was plugged in. So now we are on to our next stop, which is where?
Louisville.
We're headed to Louisville, and we'll keep you updated.
Supercharging, got the full 250 kilowatts max, and this thing is humming. Well, we made it to the hotel. We ended up overcharging in Louisville. The car was ready in 10 minutes, but the kids needed a little bit extra time for the restroom and whatnot, so we ended up leaving with a 96% charge. We're able to skip our Indianapolis charge, and then made it to the hotel here in Lafayette with about 21%, and we have some destination chargers here, so plugged right in, right by the hotel here, and we'll wake up to a full charge. All right, so we just left the hotel. We had overnight stay in Lafayette with destination charging. Arrived with about 21% battery, plugged the car in, set the charge limit to 90%, charged up while we were sleeping. Then this morning when we woke up, I released it to 100% to top the battery off. That way it doesn't sit at 100% for too long. And it was ready to go for us. So we're actually at 100%, just left the hotel. And one thing to keep in mind is you actually do not have regenerative braking at a strong force, and that's what these dotted lines are. So they show you how much regen braking you have, until you free up some of the battery state of charge for it to put charge back into the battery and regen braking. So these dotted lines will slowly disappear to a solid bar, which indicates that you have full regen braking restored. Well, we made it to Wisconsin. This is the last supercharger stop just over the border in Wisconsin. Here we are trickle charging at our Airbnb in Cedarburg. I learned the hard way that the outdoor outlets are actually on the same circuit as the kitchen when I tried to use the microwave at the same time as the car was charging and actually tripped the breaker. The car charges on a 15 amp circuit at 12 amps, so it really doesn't leave too much room to spare. Other than that, we really didn't have any issues at all. I was able to charge at a quicker rate at my parents' house because my dad has this Nema 1050 outlet in his garage. I had to buy a special adapter for this. More information on that in our planning video. But this allowed me to charge at 32 amps or about 30 miles per hour, which made a significant difference over just trickle charging. Here are some of the fun activities we did while visiting my hometown.